unerringly long nights of midwinter, hooves and bells may be heard upon the pavements outside your window. As with all things, there is a dark opposite, and the Krampus is thought to be the shadow of the jolly fat man himself, St. Nicholas, feared by the young throughout the Slavic and the Alpine regions of Europe. He may visit, and if you're lucky, just receive a thrashing, but if you've been real bad, you may be taken, or even eaten. Thought to have evolved from the Perchten winter monsters from antiquity throughout Europe, personifications of the cruelty and harshness of winter, the Krampus is making a comeback. So be good, or else sleep with one eye open.
Oh, it was gorgeousness and gorgeosity made flesh.
You always seem to get new socks for Christmas.
Slipper socks, medium.
Well, it's a very common gift to get some new clothes during the Yuletide season, but its roots may stem from a Norse Icelandic tradition that has a dark and scary heart to it. Iceland is a magical place and has many weird folkloric characters. One of the strangest is the Jólakaturin, the Yule cat, wandering the icy frozen wastes of Iceland, looking in on homesteads to see if folk are wearing new clothes on the solstice. If not, the gigantic Yule cat would devour you, and you'd then be a cat turd in the snow. Thought by folklorists to be a tale spun to make sure the wool trade in Iceland stayed in business and sell lots of socks. Icelandic children still quake in bed on the solstice eve in case they don't get any new socks in the morning. That's the last time I complain about receiving socks as a gift.
Yeah, I've a lot to be thankful for.
Grim in appearance, horned, wearing animal hide and smelling of damnation with his tongue lolling out. Another nightmare Yuletide monster who makes kids across Europe quake at the thought of him on those long midwinter nights, the Beltznickel. Similar to the Krampus and companion to St. Nick, Beltznickel carries out the dirty work of the Yuletide saint by physically abusing children if they can't recite verses from the Bible. This hairy sadist hails from southern Germany, but don't be fooled. He sometimes takes on the form of a gentle old lady out in the cold and taps softly on your window to gain entry to the house. It's recently had a resurgence in popularity thanks to the US sitcom The Office, where Dwight dresses as Beltznickel. So remember, brush up on your Bible verse or get ready for a whipping.
Well, I was born to be Belschnickel.
This dark weirdo hails from the medieval period and the borders of France and Germany. Instead of visiting the children's homes like other Yuletide monsters, this one disguises himself as a scarecrow and lures children into the woods. In the story, he captured a local boy, killed and ate him on a cruel Christmas night, thought to be based on a real person, a knight named Hans von Trotha, born in 1450, who allegedly drowned an entire town in his lust for wealth and power, and was excommunicated by the church. He was so reviled that after his death, reports of him being seen around the edges of the forest started to become commonplace, dressed as a scarecrow. Over the span of 500 years, Hans weirdly became associated with St. Nicholas, maybe as a local Krampus perhaps. To this day, children of the Alsace region of France are warned that if they don't behave, then a visit from Hans Trapp will be their reward on Christmas Day.
Right on.
Many of the Christmas and Yuletide customs are largely looked upon as folklore, and there is no custom more famous at Yuletide than the Christmas nativity. But for all of you out there who think that it's historical, I'm sorry, because it's made up. First recorded in 1223, the theatrical scene with wizards, shepherds and herd animals surrounding the glowing baby and proud parents was a fever dream from the mind of St. Francis of Assisi, who was inspired after a visit to the supposed birthplace of Jesus in the Holy Land. There is no mention of the Nativity in the Bible, but the birth of Jesus is mentioned in the books of Luke and Matthew. The date isn't mentioned either, and is still hotly debated. But the winter solstice was an auspicious date because all the heathen tribes marked the day as the birth of the sun and had wild celebrations, which was very handy for the Christians, who borrowed the idea for the Son of God.
The Messiah is a very naughty boy!
It's the end of civilization as we know it.
Not quite, Professor.
Shake hands back and